Hey, Mom.
Hi.
Let's start off by asking what sort of things have you been reading recently?
Well, recently I've been listening to books more than reading them, using audiobooks,
Hmm.
and we've been listening to. There's two different series. One series is David Eddings, The Belgrade. It's a
Oh.
fantasy, and it's 5 books.
Hmm.
So we did that one, and then there's a second 5 book series, and it's a fantasy.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
you've got usually a kid who grows up and has to go on a quest. So we've been re-listening to that, and it's been kind of fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales of Our Times. This is a show where we discuss the stories that move us, what makes them so meaningful, and why others could or should find meaning in them as well. This is not a spoiler-free show, so bear that in mind as you continue to listen. We tackle books, movies, podcasts, and more. Where there's a story, there's a reason to read. I'm your host, Amanda Stevens, and since Mother's Day has just come and gone, I thought it would be fun to welcome back onto the show my very own mom for today's guest, Susan Hahn.
Hi.
How are you today, Mom?
I am great. Thank you for asking.
Mhm.
How are you?
I'm fine. It's almost summer here, so things are getting a little bit warmer, but otherwise, I can't complain. So the last time you were on the show, you were actually visiting Taiwan. Today, you have graciously agreed to do it by phone call from home in Seattle. And although we started talking about fantasy books, that wasn't the book that you said you wanted to talk to me about today. So what is that you have brought?
The book that I was going to talk to you about today is actually a prequel, and it's a short story.
Hmm.
And it's a prequel to a series of books that was written by Spencer Quinn. And it's a series of books called the Chet and Bernie mysteries.
Oh, I love
And
mysteries.
yeah, and always throughout this series of books, they always refer back to a point in time for
Hmm.
the dog. And this is a short story that finally talks about what happened at that point in time.
Now, wait a minute. You said a point in time for the dog. So who are the main characters of this story?
That's a good question. There are two main characters in the story. One is Bernie, and he is a private detective of
Hmm.
the Little Detective Agency,
Okay.
and his partner slash dog Chet the dog. And the whole series and the short story is told from the perspective of the dog, who is a really smart dog,
But still a
but
dog.
he's still a dog.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all the stupid things that dogs do, Chet does.
Yeah.
If he walks into a room and there's a box of pizza there, he makes a beeline for it and eats up the pizza in 2 bites.
Oh, okay.
So have everything going through a dog's brain is coming out on paper, and it's just a lot of fun. We listen to the audiobooks,
Hmm.
and it's narrated by Jim Frangione, and he does a great job. So what's fun about this series
Hmm.
is that it doesn't take itself very seriously. It's just
Yeah.
entertainment.
Well, that's what I was just going to
And
ask you is like what the tone of the story was. Because I love mysteries and they run the gamut between sometimes being like very serious and dark and broody and depressing and then very lighthearted kind of capers.
the story or the mystery is usually something very serious.
Okay.
But
Oh,
as
okay.
told through the eyes of the dog,
Hmm.
it's not that serious at all in terms of it has a very light tone.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we use for this whole series is we use it for brain breaks. So if we've been listening to something that's very heavy, there's maybe a murder mystery that's gruesome,
Hmm.
or something is going on in
In the world.
even current affairs that
Yeah.
is depressing, then we kind of turn to a Chet and Bernie just as a brain break,
This
just
is your
to
comfort media.
it's to lighten up, and
Okay.
it's really neat. The story that I'm talking about today, the title of it was A Cat Was Involved.
Mm-hmm.
In the later stories, he always says, well, I flunked out of canine school. A cat was involved, but that's a story for another time.
Uh-huh.
So finally then, a cat was involved.
Okay. Well, you know
And
what? Let's just get started. Is there anything else? This is a mystery. It's told from the point of view of the dog. Is there anything else that we need to know before the summary, or not really?
so this is where Chet actually meets Bernie. It's a
Yeah.
prequel that's never explained in any of the books, but finally Spencer Quinn writes a short story and explains this one little incident.
All right. Well, Mom, could you give us the summary for A Cat Was Involved?
Chet, the dog, is going through canine school, and he's one of two dogs that have not washed out. And the only thing left for Chet to do is to jump a fence.
Oh, good.
And he's a great jumper. That's just one of the things that he's really good at.
What kind of dog is Chet?
He's a 100-pounder.
Oh, okay.
And he's kind of a shepherd mix, all black with like one white ear.
I just wanted to picture this as I'm imagining something terrible happening.
Yes, you have to imagine he's kind of an intimidating dog, but still will go up and sit on your feet if he feels like you need some comfort.
Mm-hmm. So he's about to jump this fence. He's a great jumper.
He's been through small arms where they're firing off bullets, and that doesn't faze him.
Wow.
He's done nose work, passed with flying colors. Great nose. And all he has us to do is this jump.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is before they go to the jump, his trainer takes both Chet and the other dog in his car to the donut shop. He leaves the two dogs in the car and he goes, and Chet is a curious, kind of a slightly ADHD dog. He's looking around and he sees this yellow car pull up next to him. And what he notices about this car is that there's a cat in the back window. Chet, of course, because he's a dog, barks at it.
Mm-hmm.
Then things settle down. The person in the car gets out and goes into the donut shop. And while she's gone, another car comes up and they steal this yellow car with pink interior. And
with a cat inside.
With a cat inside.
Oh, no.
And about this time, Bernie drives up. We haven't met him yet, but we soon will. And comes on over and says hi to the dogs, goes in and talks to the policeman that he was meeting inside the donut shop.
Mm-hmm.
It's cliche, but okay. And when he comes back out, the gal in the yellow car comes back out with him, and all of a sudden she starts screaming. And so Bernie looks and she says, well, somebody stole my car.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take you in and you can talk to the policeman in the donut shop and they can help you. And then she stops and she really starts to cry and scream. She says, but my cat was inside.
Yeah.
And so he says, oh, I'm sorry. And he takes her inside and all the policemen come out and Bernie moves on. Chet and his trainer go back because they're going to finish the test, his jumping test.
Mm-hmm.
And just as he's getting ready to jump, he looks over to the side and he notices that there's a cat. It's the same cat that was in the yellow car.
Oh, no.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah.
And so instead of jumping the fence, he runs on over to see the cat.
Uh-huh.
And the cat scratches his nose. The trainer comes and gets him and says, you have failed.
No.
You failed. You cannot be a police dog. And so he was kind of upset, sad that he washed out of canine school. And his trainer puts him in the car and takes him to the Humane Society.
Wait, but I have a question. Wow. Oh, my God.
Yes.
That's such a big jump. The consequences are so much higher for failing dog school than I thought. Wow. Usually they just get rehomed with somebody.
I know.
Whoa. Sorry, you really threw me through a loop with that one. I just wanted to check. He went to go see the cat. I have two quick questions. Because this is from the point of view of a dog. Is this one of those stories where the dogs can talk, or is it just like his point of view? They don't talk. He just does dog things, and we hear his thoughts.
He just does dog things, and we hear his thoughts, but no other animals talk.
Okay, so he's not like talking with the cat. He's just like, oh my God, that's the cat. No. He runs over, he barks at it. Does he like grab the cat, or does he just kind of go sniff it and kind of scare it away?
Yeah, the cat, there's a fence there separating them.
Oh, okay.
And the cat could take care of himself. So he swiped Chet, scratched his nose.
But he's hanging out at like the training facility, essentially.
Behind the training facility, yes.
Okay, so close to it.
Behind the fence on the other side of the training facility.
All right, I got it. I'm all caught up. Okay. He's like just outside. Okay, back to the Humane Society where they're dropping off the flunky dog.
They're going to drop him off. He gets there, walks up to the door. He's 5 minutes too late. It's closed.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
I know. So he takes Chet to his brother, and he says, just take care of Chet for the night, and I will come and get him in the morning and drop him off at the Humane Society. Mm-hmm. And his brother thinks about it for a few minutes, and he decides that he's going to take him to Bernie's house instead, and says, can you do me a favor? I'll owe you one. Take care of the dog for the night. Mm-hmm. And so Chet just falls in love with Bernie immediately. Bernie comes in and starts talking to him just kind of like a kid or a friend, and says, well, checking me out. What do you think? Mm-hmm. And they start bonding at this point. There's an incident. Chet gets a bowl of water and he accidentally breaks it. And he thinks, oh no, what a horrible day. I flunked out of canine school and now I broke this bowl and Bernie is just going to start yelling at me. I just want to go hide under a couch or something somewhere.
Yeah.
And instead of yelling at him, Bernie, who's kind of a down on his luck PI, just starts laughing. And then Chet starts to run towards him, like he's going to hug him. And he realizes that, well, I'm a 100-pounder. I don't want to hurt this guy. Uh-huh. So instead, he jumps over Bernie. And Bernie is like a 6-foot guy, which is the jumping test.
That's a lot. Uh-huh. So he's like, wow, this dog is great.
And Bernie kind of stops and thinks, that's the test he failed and he cleared me easily.
Yeah.
So he calls up the trainer and he talks to him about it.
He's like, something's off.
And he realizes that what distracted Chet was the cat. And he thinks, oh, there is a auto body shop just on the other side of the fence where Chet failed his test. Let's go check it out.
Yeah, let's see if we can
find that. And so they go and they check out this auto body shop, but turns out to be a chop shop where they're stealing cars and taking them apart. Uh-huh. And he walks in, he sees that there is a yellow car with pink interior, which is the car
description
that
he
the
got
woman,
like yesterday.
Yes, there's quite a bit of shenanigans and there's some fighting and the dog, does some great canine stuff.
Yeah.
Then they call the police. The whole place is busted.
Does the woman get her cat back? This is the most important question to me.
The woman gets her cat back. Before Bernie actually calls the police, he makes the two people that he has subdued put the car back together.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah. And then, a partnership is formed. So on the worst day of Chet's life, it was also the best day of Chet's life.
That's so cute.
That's the story of a cat was involved.
Okay. And then this is not a story you need to enjoy the rest of the series, but it is sort of like a foundational story that they keep referencing.
Yeah. And so this is a short story, but this is not, it's a prequel. It's not the actual beginning of the series. Yeah. There are other books for that.
Well, it sounds so charming. I really like it.
What we like about it is that Chet is a very smart, good dog, but he still has the intelligence of a dog.
Yeah, still just a dog.
He can count to 2.
That's so good.
Sometimes, and what comes after 2? Oh, I don't know. And there's these running jokes that go throughout every book, you know, and one of the ones that I keep referring to is, suddenly my mind went blank. Ooh, I do my best work at that time, Or I was looking at this and I heard barking. And then you hear Bernie say, Chet, what are you doing? I practice not barking. And whoa, wouldn't you know it? It was me,
That's
and
so good.
it's just, all of these little running jokes that go throughout every book. And it's very amusing.
Well, let's get into that then, because you said you kind of already answered one of my first questions, which is how did you find this? And it sounds like you found this kind of like looking for a lighter media to sort of take the edge off. So then what makes this series so meaningful to you? Sort of like what keeps you coming back?
Well, one, it's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Two, there are all these inside jokes that we appreciate. There will be some mystery.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you said that the mysteries are actually not usually lighthearted. So this one was about like a carjacking scheme. Could I just ask what some of the other mysteries are?
The first mystery, I think, is one in which there is a girl who is kidnapped. But mostly, if anybody is really hurt, it's the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
There was another book that there was an elephant that was stolen from a circus.
Okay.
And so they were looking for the elephant. But one of the things that usually drives the story is that Bernie and Chet are very close and they're partners and they're never apart. And so if one is missing, the other one is looking for them. And usually that means that the missing one is involved in whatever the mystery is at the time. He's been kidnapped. He's
lost following a lead. He got trapped behind a door, something else like that.
Yeah. So things happen, but usually it's not. It's not a book where really horrific things happen, and there's no chopping up of people. There's no.
And this is sort of like something that you guys really like about the series. This is like what brings you back.
It's a break from anything nasty because there's some really good books out there, but they talk about hard things.
Yeah.
And I would say if you have a chance to listen to the audiobook and check it out from the library and listen to it, because Jim Frangione, who narrates it, just does a terrific job.
Yeah. So is that meaning you think other people can find in it as well? Just a nice mystery and a good story, but something that is a really good comfort media that's not going to like stress you out a lot.
It's definitely a comfort media, but it has more joy in it than that. It's not, I wouldn't call it comedy, but there's a lot of comedy in it. And it's like petting your dog or taking your dog for a walk, and you happen to notice that there's a squirrel, and the dog's going to chase the squirrel. And he does, but you laugh anyway.
Maybe sort of finding joy, or a good example of like finding joy in these mysteries and kind of like reminding you to find joy as you're like walking around, like that same feeling.
Yeah, it is. And it's comfort, it's joyful, it's a brain break from day-to-day stuff.
Oh, that's lovely. So we are almost out of time, but before we go, I want to ask you if you could give A Cat Was Involved a one-phrase subtitle, what would that be?
Finding man's bestest friend and most loyal partner.
Finding man's bestest friend and most loyal partner.
Yes, because that's how he would say it.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, Mom, thanks for coming on the show again.
You should listen to that. You would enjoy it.
I think I will.
You will have your headphones in and then just start laughing. And it'd be nice to share it with somebody so that you can laugh at the same inside jokes.
Well, I hope that a lot of other people go and listen to it, because to me, it definitely sounds like a blast. So, but we are out of time. So, Happy Mother's Day.
Why, thank you, honey. That's very nice.
To you, of course. And to everybody else out there who serves a motherly role, I hope you enjoyed your Mother's Day as well. But in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Tales of Our Time on Radio Taiwan International. I was your host, Amanda Stevens, with my guest and mom, Susan Hahn, all the way from Seattle. And today we were talking about Chet and Bernie, A Cat Was Involved. Finding man's bestest friend and most loyal partner. A tale of our time. We'll see you next time.